Buying Used by Jesse Bright. We need a car because the Ford Taurus I've been driving, purchased new by my wife's grandmother 16 years ago, driven up and down the East Coast, inhabited by field mice in rural Vermont, shot up in a fatal gang hit at the local CVS, has come to its end. And Chuck, who wants to sell me a car by convincing me he's human, says he's sorry he can only offer me $500 due to the minor defects. He doesn't know I could kiss him for saying it and for telling my pregnant wife she's beautiful. From what I can see, everyone here is waiting to be offered an upcharge. Families sit before desks, behind loading computers. Emily snacks beside me, the baby does jumping jacks in her belly. I'm pacing. We're all looking through the glass. Chuck runs between buildings and stops in an office with a guy who looks mean, a guy from whom I would definitely not buy a car. I know Chuck needs money because he told me he bought his house at a bad time. He envies my neighborhood, but he loves his job. No one could make me feel more heroic. On the test drive, he becomes a child by the window, the trees sliding by. He tells me to note each feature, to hear the purr, to pull onto a side street as if it were my own, to turn and turn until fulfilled. He wears a ball cap, always. I'm sure he's told me lies, and that I've accepted them all.
Awkward Diary, 4.5 stars. How to describe a sigh with a saw inside? How does anyone shake hands or get out of bed? I look perfectly fine, and between my radii and ulni, the current flares and splashes. Like how I feel about anybody's nipple is not in my control and not polite conversation, but just walking a hall, you see a face and icicles line the air. This music is unreasonable, too much. Just scooping a sip from a faucet, putting a name to a face. My filters fail and it drizzles in, raz and juke smoke. I want to kiss everything and roll up in a drawer. This music is a squall of irresolve, a waterfall having spaz attacks. And this backdrop of coral gloom is glue that gets images to stick. Whatever country you live in, you can't help what you want rain to dissolve you into. Teach me to sing one syllable out of every sentence that says it's time to take our seats, or can you break $1, but means I'm sad we have to die, please love me back.
Super frustrated black person. So I'm going to read about super frustrated black people. The high fashion gala says, I cannot twerk here. I'm sorry, I didn't know my ass wasn't welcome. Here, I figured since you invited me, you wanted all of me to attend. And sure, I get it. Violins don't make everyone want to throw that ass back like a Luda song, but my body been tuned to beats since birth. So when a rhythm hits me, I gotta hit it back with a jiggle. And what am I supposed to do with all this booty meat? This second plate of cornbread gyrating behind me got a mind of its own, knows its way around a dance break, and I can't help but notice that I'm the only one dancing here. When dance be the only proper form of celebration for us not dying today. That and food. Which gave me all this body that wants to move or prove that it's not dead yet. And again, I get it. Black has never been high fashion. But you needed me here for this to be diverse. Plus, I'm welcome as long as I leave anything black that's not my skin at home. You want the accolades of knowing a nigga as much as your ancestors wanted the clout of owning one. But today will not be my excuse to fold the dark edges of my hands into my lap and be a good houseboy. I will not sit when you say sit. I will not walk where you say walk. I will not bark when you say bark. I will not dance just to entertain you. No. I dance because the gout from the grease has not taken my knees yet. Because I can bend my joints low enough to let this ass tremble. I will scream A. I will look back at it. I may twerk in a split. My tongue will hang, but this body will not. It is mine. It is fashionable. Something you wish you could wear or own. You who duck walks your way out of the function and pose, break your spine back into the posture of the poise. Can show your mother that you cleaned all the nigger off your skin. You who've been wearing my face and calling it drag, came to slay, and you did. Left millions dead at your feet. You are not worthy of this skin. I came to be the life of this ball. We've been doing high fashion for years. We can never be old to this. This is mine, and I will take it back, one ass cheek at a time.
And this was something I thought of years ago. We dreamed of canoeing the entire length of the Huron River. We found spots on the map where we could pull out for the night, camp, get up the next day. Nothing ever came of our plans. Girls, jobs, school took over. Now, standing at the mouth of the river, we'd imagine floating from Kensington Park to here at Point Muley, through the chain of lakes, Strawberry, Portage, out of Oakland County, through Washtenaw, Monroe, spilling out into the big water. Today, looking for snowy owls, those Arctic wanderers down from the north, on the shore of Lake Erie. There are hundreds of ducks, geese, swans, herons, cranes, an eagle and an egret. More herons, cormorants, coot and loon, canvasbacks, redheads, grebes, mergansers, northern shovelers, but no owls. There's so many ducks, you can't look through the binoculars without seeing 20 at one crack. Across the Detroit River, Canada with its huge wind turbines marching off into the distance. Our old enemy / ally on the other side. Closer to this shore, an abandoned barge snug up against a small island, waves pinging off the empty hulk. Fermi's cooling towers just to the south. Thanks, everyone.
From a collection that I did where every poem starts off with Tom Petty lyrics. So this one's called American Girl. And it starts off with the lyrics, raised on promises, she couldn't help thinking that there was a little more life somewhere else. This morning's burning sage lingers in the threads of a too thin sweater. Ceremony lingers. Midnight, parking lot, we played our Snapchats, drum circles, one dancing, one singing. In a world our own, we celebrated our births, you remembering fancy dancing, me singing American Girl because I never learned the dance, but I could shape these words to match the beat. Between cigarettes and sweetgrass and the heartbeat of ceremony drums, we quote smoke signals from memory, contemplate absence of fathers, forgiveness and forgetting. My grandfather was a truck driver for over 40 years, and I wonder how many of his favorite songs I sing to on long drives, and does he sing with me? Sometimes, I like to think he takes these opportunities to get to know me. I can't help but feel him when the sun slants just right, long shadows on a long winter road, and I count the turns to home. It's important on long, lonely drives to have a good co-pilot playing DJ. I wonder what stories my grandpa told late at night on a CB radio. Sometimes I think, had I been a stranger, I could have known him better. Most days I'm just a well-worded contradiction, knowing I'm missing more than I know, wondering why you're here more often as a ghost than you ever worked with.
So I was driving downtown and I saw this bus that was advertising for the new Natural History Museum. So this poem is inspired by a slogan that I saw on that bus. Old bones, new home. Threatened and spit out and wrestled and worn. Old bones, new home, dusted and cracked and packed with foam. Home, home, home. New home, no home. All you are is a hitchhiker, and that scares me. It scares me that your stomach is so flat you can bend into yourself, mend yourself, hold fire to a needle, and outgrow yourself. It scares me how awake you are, how pit-patted into the dirt you are, sewn down, immovable, sleepless in Seattle, sundown with the side of vinegar. It scares me that I could call you vinegar, salted chips, vindictive, salted and fried, a little something on the side, and I pretend to know you, like my shoelaces, like I know where they've been, seen all the dirt they've seen, all the concrete, but they can still tie themselves together around my neck like a ribbon or a bow, like they always know where to go. What do I know that I haven't shown them? I mean, I've grown them. They hold me together like a ribbon or a bow, but there's still so much I owe them. Old bones, new home, personal vendetta against snowmen. They don't have any bones and barely have a home for them. What kind of a home melts under pressure? Home that just couldn't keep it together, knows that you don't even own, belongs to that rabbit before it belongs to you. Buttons that forgot what they're really supposed to do. Kinda like you. Kinda like melting under pressure. Kinda like backing away as if you were lesser, like not knowing what they're supposed to do. It could have been easier. It could have been take it out of the oven, stick in a toothpick, put it back 5 minutes easier. But you know, overbaked, underbaked, too soft in the middle. I think I've always been too soft in the middle, not enough bones in this home in the middle, round and working like a nest or a clock, but birds didn't give birth to us. Tick, tick, tock.
Woo! Okay, I'll just read this cute little poem. It's called Negative Space. I am a revolving door of issues. Therapy 1 minute, fine the next. Sometimes I mimic my father, a glass of alcohol here after work to cope with living. What I mean is, I don't always want to look like my mother, looking for the worst and better, desire with only half the body. I look for the next man's attention, like a wolf starving, bone thin and limping. Would I be more centered with him living? Incarnation of spilt ashes. I only ever see him in my dreams, still elusive, still absent of an I'm proud, even when I make him from memory.
I have a title for this piece, but it's going to give away the point of the poem, so
Spoiler alert, dude.
Hey kids, have you heard the news? There's an old white man running for president. Aren't you excited? How could you not be? He's qualified to lead, and here are just some of the reasons why. His family is impeccable, son charged with corruption, making easy deals with Eastern European men. He already has that scandal behind him, which shows 3 things. He is no stranger to breaking the law, something every president has done. He's involved in something he shouldn't be, another thing every president has done. And no one actually seems to care about the first 2 things. He's good with people, threatening physical violence against his opponents. His supporters loved it. He is so good with people. There are montages dedicated to how he parachutes his way into the personal space of women and girls. Do not worry. He means no harm. He only wishes to assert his power over lesser people. He is so good with people that he makes up fake black friends, the same kind of fake black friends white feminists claim to have at the dinner table after going to one NAACP meeting 5 years ago and never coming back because she got her personal diversity quota by joining Apple Pi Gamma, where the sisters think they're not racist because they fucked a black dude. I wonder what his fake black friends would say about his real white friends who were noted racist, who have said such things as crime rates and irresponsibility among Negroes are a fact of life which must be faced, or white people wake up before it's too late. If you ask me, the old white man running for president is sundowning in the sundown town where he takes his vacations, reminiscing about how good it was to be vice president while looking forward to doing a better job than his black friend. If you are reading or listening to this poem, please, for the love of God and your fellow man, I beg you, don't vote for Joe Biden.
The man next to me at the bar, oh, filming's good. The man next to me at the bar keeps going on about how amazing this band is, but by amazing, I think he means they play instruments. This band is not amazing in the sense that Wonderwall is a hard song to fuck up, yet here we are. And don't get me wrong, I like a Sublime cover band just as much as the next guy, but it seems like maybe they've already had their 15 minutes, and it's time to pass the torch to Ed Sheeran or Jason Mraz or some newer, hipper embodiment of white mediocrity. Cynicism is funny, but it's a curse. It, of course, served an evolutionary function, as the caveman should not be too trusting of the tiger, no matter how adorable, but in the world we live in, it probably serves us better to like more things. For example, if I liked this terrible band, I would be having a better time at this terrible band's concert and not be so painfully aware that I've nothing to say to anyone here or really anywhere outside of a confession booth. Needless to say, this ska cover of Piano Man is not very good. The tough thing about pulling off ska covers is that ska is bad. But judging by this guy's reaction to the awesome reality that everyone in this band plays an instrument, you would think they were not terrible and also not playing ska. The man next to me is drunk, but I pretend that he isn't because I want to believe that adulthood is more than having to get drunk to enjoy the mediocre details of your day. Sure, it's easy to be awed by a lunar eclipse or the Grand Canyon, but it's harder to be awed by shitty music or the sidewalk or another person without a slight push from whiskey or religion's gentle bleeding palms. Some theologians say it is the same to love God as to fear God, so maybe all of this anxiety is a blessing because it means I encounter the universe with such a sense of awe that I can't stomach it without pills. On the other hand, I think this band should maybe pick a new sport, while the guy next to me is chanting along with a ska cover of Tiny Dancer like it's a Kabbalic prayer or a song that is good. It is dangerous to become envious of another's joy, as sabotaging it grows ever tempting and jealousy is an unbecoming quality. It is better to find that joy within oneself, so this time I ask the bartender to leave the whole bottle.
Poems. So, when I heard Brian was in town, I knew exactly what piece I was going to do. There was a meme that was going around, so it's going to be a cover and then some originals inspired off the cover. So it went like this. You pick a phrase, you pick a rhyme, repeat the sound another time, 5 I-ams and an extra beat will do ya. Another rhyme, a rising note, congratulations, you just wrote another goddamn verse to Hallelujah. And then I was like, okay, I've done light verse before. There's literally a recipe on how to do this. I know I can make my contribution to the literature. So I write, and I can sing it now because it's not like a giveaway. I think that I can write one too. It's not the best, but it'll do. And if you say I can't, well, buddy, screw ya. I did it, I'm a huge success. It doesn't suck, it's not a mess. A non-essential verse to Hallelujah. And then I thought to myself, well, what rhymes with Hallelujah? And then I wrote my masterpiece. Augustus was sucked up a tube, and Violet turned into a blue. Alas, Veruca Salt, we barely knew ya. Ironic fate for Mike TV, so Charlie wins the factory. And now we sing a song called Oompa Loompa. Thank you.
So whatever happened to Wang Dazhong? We meet in San Jose on the first day of Saturday morning Chinese school, on the pages of Book 1, Chapter 1 of the same textbook they use in Taiwan for much younger children. Instead of see Dick, run Dick, run, we walk to school with Wang Dazhong. This is my book bag. This is my pen. This is my chair. We all rise and bow to the teacher together as she enters our classroom. Good morning, teacher. Good morning, students. Are you Wang Dazhong? Yes, I am Wang Dazhong. 2. My parents were born in China, grew up in Taiwan, then came to America for graduate school, like so many of that generation. Pushed by war, pulled by education and opportunity, made a life among silicon chips and prune orchards. But none of us are Taiwanese, really. We're a Waisenren from the outer provinces. Outsiders there, outsiders here. I have only been to Taiwan twice, once when I was 3 and once when I was 19. I ate fresh xiaobing youtiao, hot out of the oil and dipped in fresh doujiang early in the morning mist. I watched the Taichung University talent show where a cute boy with a guitar sang about the boxer and the come-ons from the horse on 7th Avenue. My new friends laughed when I mixed up new vocabulary words, 安全帽 and 保险套, 同屋 and 同系. I like to say that we are Chinese by way of Taiwan. And the nice white ladies at school say, "Oh, I love Thailand." 3. With his iconic short shorts, white sneakers, and green book bag, we knew Wang Dazhong. Not a hair out of place, Wang Dazhong was always nice, always polite, always obedient and quiet. Wang Dazhong always knew the right thing to do, and he never had any of the problems we did with not fitting in with the American kids at school, or being embarrassed by our Taiwanese designer knockoffs, or fighting with our parents who just did not understand. We were bad Chinese school students who wrote our Chinese school homework every Friday night with a Chinese dictionary on one side and mom on the other side. Every Saturday morning we guessed our way through exams with radicals and homonyms. We invoked his name in every sentence, paragraph, essay, speech, and skit that we wrote as we slogged through our Chinese school childhoods together, chapter after chapter, textbook after Overseas Chinese Affairs Commission textbook. Whenever we needed an old friend whose name we knew we could write, whenever we needed an old friend to walk with us, Wang Dazhong. 4. Once, when talking to my 11-year-old son, who we all call little brother, about how our family crossed the Strait of Taiwan after the war, and clarifying the difference between strait, S-T-R-A-I-T, and straight, S-T-R-A-I-G-H-T, he suddenly burst out, "What? Taiwan is an island? Is that why there's that chili pepper on all our Taiwan keychains?" How did I forget to teach him that Taiwan is an island? But he knows Wang Dazhong. Another generation later, with the same Overseas Chinese Affairs Commission textbooks from Taiwan, Wang Dazhong comes to life yet again in little brother's Chinese school storytelling competitions as he jokes about Wopo Mofo, references the night markets, and how Chofen is the model for Miyazaki's Spirited Away, and sings about the beautiful Alishan Mountain, all places he has never walked. Alishan li gunyang mei wu shui ya, Alishan li shaonian zhuang wu shan. 5. Today, a refugee boy from a landlocked country calls me island girl as we walk, and I wonder how much the beautiful island of Formosa walks within me across legacies of colonialism, occupation, transnational migration, immigration, resistance, and revolution. Where are we from? Where are we really from? Not a hair out of place. Wang Dazhong is always nice, always polite, always obedient and quiet. Even without his iconic short shorts, white sneakers, and green book bag, I look in the mirror and recognize his black hair with a hint of curl, golden brown skin, fair in the sunlight, square rimmed glasses. But this is not the idyllic Taiwan of our parents' childhood stories. Or maybe it never was. "Are you a student?" the teacher asks. "Yes, I am a student," he replies. "Am I a student?" the teacher asks. "No, you are the teacher," he says. I wonder what he would say to the children with the sunflowers in their hands, walking to the American border seeking asylum. We are hashtag more than boba. And so Wang Dazhong walks with me still as I learn to write my life with bigger words and more complicated characters every day.
Woo!